so I went back to Professor Munroe in 2013. And we're now in 2016, but it became a reality. So Prof, I want to welcome you and I want to say thank you so much.
In the interest of transparency, I need to point out that Maxine was a former student of mine, and therefore you can expect her to say what she did say a while ago. Thank you very much, Madam Chairman. Maxine, Honorable Minister of Justice, Honorable Chief Justice, Honorable Director of Public Prosecutions, Acting Secretary General of the IAP, Acting USAID Mission Director, my friend Andy, guest delegates to the 4th IAP North America and Caribbean Regional Conference, ladies and gentlemen, special guests, good morning. We at National Integrity Action regard it as an honor and a special privilege to bring greetings to this very important conference, the first of its kind to be held in the Caribbean, and to have been privileged to be a sponsor with the support of USAID of this historic event. We want to especially congratulate the team, which has worked so assiduously, and don't believe that the team from the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions got time off from prosecuting to arrange this conference. They had to be prosecuting in the courts at the same time as executing the arrangement for this conference. We want to take a moment to give very special thanks to Maxine, to Tracy, to Claudette, and the rest of the team. Otherwise, we would not be here in this salubrious climate this morning. So thank you very much, team. Today and over the next few days, in plenary and in workshops, you shall be focused on current and future challenges with tackling cybercrime and organized financial crime. As you know better than I, this is a major preoccupation of justice systems and of law enforcement in this globalized, technology-driven world. In fact, Delroy has pointed out the trillions of dollars lost to the global economy and the technical issues that are involved in prosecuting these offenses. You shall be doing so, however, in a very particular context, that is, prosecution and governance in the 21st century. As many of you know, National Integrity Action's mission is particularly focused on issues of governance, of transparency, accountability, and integrity. In that context, please allow me to place my greetings to your conference and to the program of activity, the technical discussions that you shall be having, in a specific context, in the context of the profound, indeed the deepening challenges facing governance in general in the 21st century. First of all, globally. As you know, the centerpiece of governance is government. Across the international community, including in our region, in the Americas, people, regrettably, are losing confidence in governments and in public authorities in general. Indeed, in 2013, according to the Global Corruption Barometer, which looked at 107 countries across the world and which interviewed 114,000 people, fully 55% of persons surveyed in those countries, including the United States, including the United Kingdom, including Jamaica, believe that their government is run by a few big interests looking out for themselves and not in the public interest. In the 22 states of the Americas, including those in the Caribbean, according to the very authoritative Latin American Public Opinion Project, which is produced every 2 years, the last report, published in April 2015, found, regrettably, that there is low and declining trust in every single institution of democratic governance, in elections, in parliaments, in political parties. Regarding the justice system, the level of trust has declined significantly between 2004 and 2014 across the hemisphere. Believe it or not, it gives me no pleasure and much anguish to point out that trust levels in 2014 was lower across the hemisphere than trust in elections, in the national police, and than trust in the executive. You, therefore, national prosecutors, and those of you from across the region, cannot, I suggest, be indifferent to this decline in confidence, not least of all because you are at the very heart of our justice system, which is at the very heart of our democratic governance. Your role, as you know far better than I, is to discharge a fundamental responsibility in that process, a fundamental responsibility in upholding the rule of law, and along with that, the practical application of that which preoccupies so many of our people, the principle of equality before the law. The principle of the rule of law enjoys a considerable pedigree, a considerable genealogy, tracing back to medieval England and further to ancient Greece. However, that principle now has to be practiced, to be implemented in a fundamentally different context in the 21st century. It is a context, ladies and gentlemen, in which transparency and accountability are becoming sacrosanct principles of governance. They now apply to you as well as to other public officers, to the police, to public officers in entities like the Firearm Licenses Authority in Jamaica, in a manner and to an extent which did not exist in those who would to apply the rule of law and equality before the law even 50 years ago. As recently as that, you did not have to practice in this particular context. As our Director of Public Prosecutions put it on the ODPP website here in Jamaica, and here I quote, "A Crown prosecutor is a provider of a public service." Continuing, "We have a duty to account to the public we serve." End of quotes. Fulfillment of that duty to account may sound simple, but reflecting on it, it is clearly problematic. It is problematic because each of you is highly trained in matters of law. You have to account to a boss, the public, who have no training in the law whatsoever. Of course, let me be clear. A duty to account does not mean the obligation to pander, nor does it mean playing up to public opinion, but it does require an obligation to be aware of public sentiments, particularly in high-profile cases. Dear prosecutors, permit me to be concrete. From time to time, each of you, along with other officers in the justice system, the judiciary, parish judges, in your respective jurisdictions, from time to time you have to deal with high-profile cases. Such cases take place in a context where, according to the Blue Ribbon 2007 Justice Sector Task Force Reform Report in Jamaica, and I would suggest this applies to most of our territories, and here I quote from that report almost 10 years ago. "The Jamaican justice system is too unequal. There's a lack of equality between the powerful, wealthy litigant and the under-resourced litigant." End of quotes. When, therefore, the powerful, wealthy litigant comes before each of you in your respective jurisdictions for prosecution, please understand that the public to whom you have a duty to account become justifiably alert to the course and to the outcome of the prosecution. Especially in a context where a 2011 United Nations Development Program report on 7 Caribbean states across the region found that the majority of citizens in these states, including in Jamaica, felt and believed that in our justice systems, the powerful and the politically connected, they go free. The concern is therefore real for equity as you discuss the issues relating to cybercrime. And that concern is as much for tackling cases of corruption, which underlies so much of our criminal activity, as it does to cases of murder and homicide. Such cases require, I dare to suggest, more than usual attentiveness on your part to professionalism, to the exercise of high competence without fear or favor, and to account fully to your public when there is a perception, and I put it no higher than that, when there is a perception that the powerful and the wealthy in any particular case go free, while the under-resourced are disproportionately convicted. These considerations obviously require much emphasis in the training to which our IAP colleague referred, in continuing legal education, on the sustained enhancement of skills and competences in the discharge of your responsibilities. May I assure you that we at National Integrity Action continue to commit ourselves to partnering with you nationally and regionally to attain these objectives. In fact, you may obtain 2 of our recent publications at this conference, one entitled Prosecuting the Corrupt, and the other, Taking the Profit Out of Crime, a manual dealing with the Proceeds of Crime Act here in Jamaica. We're well aware that these considerations are shared goals of the International Association of Prosecutors, as well as our regional prosecution services. As I greet your conference, I am very, very confident that the 21st century governance principles of transparency and accountability and equality before the law shall be constantly on your mind, even as you focus, as you must, on the technical and specific challenges relating to tackling cybercrime and organized financial crime. May I also express the hope in conclusion that the next time we meet, we shall be speaking of a Caribbean Association of Prosecutors. Thank you very much.